Hello friends, welcome to Dungeons & Dragonfly, where I adapt various characters for use in D&D. I'm Dragonfly9078, and today, to celebrate the release of Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, I'll be building Sami. So what do we want from this build? Well, Sami is the infantry specialist in the Orange Star Army, so we'll need some infantry. Disposable soldiers that we can send in waves to wear our enemies down. We also need to support our troops by giving them more health, higher firepower, and most importantly, improved movement. And finally, we'll need to capture properties, even being able to win a battle in a single turn if the circumstances are right by capturing the enemy HQ rather than routing their forces. Looking over at ability scores, I'll be doing a point buy. If you want to roll for stats, that's fine, but we will need every stat that can be a multiclassing requirement to be high enough to multiclass. That means our strength, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma all need to be at least 13. With that in mind, our point buy is going to be as even as we can make it. 12s in strength, dexterity, and intelligence, and 13s in everything else. Sami is a human, giving us +1 to all of our stats to fulfill all of our multiclassing minimums, and she's a soldier. But she's specifically special forces, so I'm going to go with the marine background over just the generic soldier. That'll give us proficiency in athletics and survival, along with both land and water vehicles. Marines are also steady, meaning that we can move for twice as long as normal before suffering the effects of a forced march. To be even better at overland travel, we'll start off as a ranger for the revised version of Natural Explorer. When we travel for at least an hour, we get a bunch of useful effects, like ignoring difficult terrain for our entire group, and finding twice as much food while foraging, among others. This seems like a good time to point out that turns in Advance Wars are not the 6-second rounds that D&D uses, they're actually individual days, so any movement in Advance Wars terms would qualify for this. In addition to the overland travel benefits, Natural Explorer also gives us advantage on initiative rolls, lets us ignore difficult terrain in combat, and gives us advantage on attacks during our first turn in combat if we're attacking a creature that has not acted yet. Starting as a ranger also gives us 3 skills from the ranger list, I would say stealth, perception, and investigation, and it lets us pick a favored enemy. Most of the enemies we fight in Advance Wars are probably classified as constructs, if anything, because, they're usually vehicles, with the exception of the infantry units that Sami excels against. So we'll go with humanoids, giving us +2 damage against them, advantage on survival checks made to track them, and on intelligence checks made to remember information about them. As the infantry specialist, it makes sense that Sami would know that kind of stuff. Second level rangers get spells, normally, but not now because I want maneuvers instead, so we're using the spell-less ranger variant. Combat superiority gives us superiority dice, 4d8s that refill on any rest and that we can expend to fuel our maneuvers. With maneuvering attack, we can move our allies into better positions. When we hit a creature with a weapon attack, we can add a superiority die to the damage of that attack. Then one of our allies can use its reaction to move up to half their speed without provoking an opportunity attack from the creature that we hit. So basically we can provide covering fire to get a damaged unit out of harm's way or create an opening for them to rush past to get to the HQ. We'll also grab Tactical Assessment to let us add a superiority die to the result of any history, insight, or investigation check that we make. Sami is definitely the most tactically minded of the main Orange Star COs, though considering her competition is What's an Airport Boy and Mr. Throw Tanks at the problem until it dies, that's not exactly difficult. Second level rangers also get a fighting style, so we'll grab archery to get +2 to our ranged weapon attacks. But despite carrying around a rather large gun to use that with, Sami is the CO, or the commanding officer, so we need soldiers to command, which we can get as a wizard. First level wizards get Arcane Recovery, letting us regain spell slots on a short rest. We can get back spell slots with a total level less than or equal to half of our wizard level once per day. I'll go through our spells in more detail in the spellcasting section, so let's move on to second level when we join the School of Necromancy. We become a Necromancy Savant, having the time and gold it takes us to copy down necromancy spells into our spellbook. And with Grim Harvest, we regain health whenever we kill. Once per turn, when we kill one or more creatures with a non-cantrip spell, we can heal ourselves for 2 times the spell's level, or 3 times if the spell was a necromancy spell. That said, we can't heal for killing constructs or undead, so this is pretty useless in terms of Advance Wars. Third level wizards just get second level spells, which again, spellcasting section, so fourth level, we'll get the Gunner Feat, which rounds off our dexterity to 14, gives us proficiency with firearms so we can actually use that giant gun we carry around, lets us ignore the loading property of firearms, and lets us make ranged attacks while within 5 feet of a hostile creature without getting disadvantage. 5th level is for 3rd level spells of course, but we're really here for 6th level, when Necromancy wizards get Undead Thralls. We learn Animate Dead, a 3rd level spell that turns a corpse or pile of bones into a zombie or skeleton respectively that is under our control for 24 hours. Before that time is up, we can recast Animate Dead to extend our control over up to 4 undead for another 24 hours. Necromancy wizards do get better undead than other wizards though, as our Animate Dead can make 2 undead per cast, and any undead we create have extra HP equal to our wizard level, and add our proficiency modifier to their damage. I would say the skeletons are probably our infantry units and the zombies are our mechs, since the zombies are slower, harder to kill, and hit harder if we give them a weapon, instead of just making them use their slam attack. 7th level just gives us 4th level spells. Again, spellcasting section, we'll get there. So we'll finish off our wizard levels by rounding off our strength and intelligence to 14 each with our ability score improvement at 8th level. Jumping over to Bard real quick. Multiclassing into Bard gives us proficiency in 1 skill and 1 musical instrument. Take history for our tactical knowledge, and the musical instrument, it really doesn't matter much. Guitar maybe. Sami doesn't actually play an instrument to my knowledge, but she does have the best theme in the game, and I will fight you on that. We also get Bardic Inspiration, a pool of d6s equal to our Charisma modifier that refills on a long rest that we can hand out with our bonus action. A creature we give 1 to can add it to 1 attack roll, ability check, or saving throw they make in the next 10 minutes. It doesn't say we can't give them to undead, so buff your soldiers before you send them into battle. After the battle though, we might need to fix them up a bit by placing them on our cities to heal. So Song of Rest will add a d6 of healing to any of our allies that spend hit dice to heal during a short rest. There aren't a whole lot of ways to heal undead in 5e, but they can heal by resting just like any other creature, so this should work out just fine. 2nd level bards also get Jack of all trades, adding half our proficiency bonus to any ability checks we make, as long as the check doesn't already include the full bonus. We'll finish up with a few levels of Paladin. 1st level Paladins get Divine Sense, to know the location of undead, fiends, and celestials within 60 feet as an action a number of times per day, equal to 1 plus our Charisma modifier. We can also lay on hands to heal with a touch. As an action, we can touch a creature and expend points from our pool to heal them for that much HP, or spend 5 points to cure a poison or disease. Our pool has points equal to 5 times our Paladin level, and refills on a long rest. Unfortunately, this doesn't work on undead or constructs, but we can at least heal ourselves. For our fighting style, we'll go with Mariner, giving us +1 AC and a swimming and climbing speed while we aren't wearing heavy armor or using a shield. Sami doesn't wear armor, and infantry units are the only ones that can ford rivers and climb mountains in Advance Wars. 2nd level Paladins also get Divine Smite, which burns spell slots to add radiant damage to our melee attacks, but we use a gun, so this doesn't really do anything for us. At 3rd level, we become immune to disease thanks to Divine Health, and we take the Oath of Glory, which will give us 2 Oath spells and 2 options for our Channel Divinity. Guiding Bolt shoots a flare at a creature within 120 feet, dealing 4d6 radiant damage, and giving the next attack against them advantage until the end of our next turn. And Heroism makes a creature we touch immune to fear for up to a minute with our concentration. They also get temporary HP equal to our Charisma modifier at the start of each turn, though as always this doesn't stack, it just refills. We can use this on ourselves, or we can use it on one of our zombies. We get 1 use of Channel Divinity per rest, which we can use for one of 2 options. Peerless Athlete is a bonus action that gives us advantage on athletics and acrobatics checks for 10 minutes. It also doubles our carrying capacity and increases our jump distance by 10 feet. Then Inspiring Smite is a bonus action that we can take after using a Divine Smite, so we probably won't be using it often, but if we do get the chance to, then we give 2d8 plus our Paladin level temporary HP, divided as we choose to creatures of our choice within 30 feet of us. We get another ability score improvement at level 4, and since our whole thing is commanding troops, I'm going to say bump Charisma up by 2. 5th level Paladins can attack twice thanks to extra attack, and we get 2 more Oath spells. Enhance Ability gives a creature we touch advantage on ability checks using the ability score of our choice for up to an hour with our concentration. If we pick Strength, their carrying capacity also doubles. If we pick Dexterity, they can fall up to 20 feet without taking damage. And if we pick Constitution, they get 2d6 temporary HP until the spell ends. Magic Weapon makes a non-magical weapon we touch into a +1 weapon for up to an hour with our concentration. I do like when spells do what they say. What does Magic Weapon do? It makes a weapon magical. Nice and simple. At 6th level, we lean into the Days of Ruin CO mechanics and get the Aura of Protection. As long as we're conscious, we and creatures of our choice within 10 feet of us add our Charisma modifier to all saving throws. This is especially annoying with our zombies, since if they aren't killed by radiant damage or a critical hit, they can make a Constitution save when they would go to 0 HP to go to 1 HP instead, so now they're even harder to kill. Worth noting is that this does work on death saves, but it does not work on our own death saves, since if we're making death saves, we're, unconscious. We'll enhance our CO aura at 7th level with Aura of Alacrity. Our walking speed increases by 10 feet, as does the speed of any allied creature that starts its turn within 5 feet of us, though only until the end of that turn. Our capstone is the 8th level of Paladin for 1 last ability score improvement. Bump Charisma up to 18 for another use of Bardic Inspiration and Divine Sense, better Bard and Paladin spellcasting, and a +4 to saves with Aura of Protection. Moving on to our spellcasting, with all our multiclassing we ended up as a 14th level spellcaster. For our cantrips, Message whispers a message to a creature we point out within 120 feet for giving orders on the battlefield, though you'll need to talk with your DM to determine if this will actually control a zombie you've animated, since normally they need to be within 60 feet. Dancing Lights makes 4 torch-sized lights within 120 feet that shed dim light in a 10-foot radius. We can move the lights up to 60 feet within range as a bonus action, though the lights do have to stay within 20 feet of at least one other light. Use this during night battles to send signals or flares, throwing the lights into the sky. They may only shed useful light in a 10-foot radius, but they should still be able to be seen from miles away on a clear night. Mage Armor and Longstrider are both pretty standard spells that we use a lot. Mage Armor makes a creature's AC 13 plus its dexterity modifier for 8 hours, and Longstrider increases a creature's movement speed by 10 feet for an hour. But they're incredibly useful for outfitting our undead, because even though we normally cast them on ourselves, they can be applied to any creature we touch, and neither one uses concentration. So we can add 10 feet of movement and plus 3 AC to all of our skeletons and zombies. Just make sure to take any armor scraps off those skeletons first, or it doesn't work. We'll pick up Find Vehicle, since Sami does have the ability to buy units just like any other CO in the game. But we do have to use our 7th level slot to get anything that's in character, since casting the spell with a lower level slot specifically gets us a non-military vehicle. Leomin's Tiny Hut and Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum both capture areas for our use. Tiny Hut makes a 10-foot radius dome of force that lasts 8 hours and can fit up to 10 medium creatures, including us. The creatures who are inside when we cast a spell can pass through it freely, but no other creature's spells or objects can, and the air inside is warm and dry. Private Sanctum lasts for a full day, and makes up to a 100-foot cube magically secure. When we cast it, we can choose to block any or all of the following from passing through the barrier: light, sound, planar travel, teleportation, and divination spells that are looking inside. For a couple of instant win conditions, Banishment forces a charisma save on a creature, banishing them to either a harmless demiplane or to their home plane for up to a minute if they fail. If they're sent to their home plane and we concentrate for the full duration, they don't reappear when the spell ends, and they have to find their own way back. And Polymorph forces a wisdom save on a creature, turning them into a beast with CR less than or equal to the target's CR or level on a fail, lasting for up to an hour with our concentration. They also turn back if the new form drops to 0 HP. They take on all the stats of the new form, though they keep their own personality. Turn the enemy CO into a snail for an hour. That tends to end the fight very quickly. Now that the build is complete, the question becomes, how good is it? Well, we have an army. An army of tough-to-kill undead that we can heal and buff. We also have instant win conditions that can just straight up end a fight with a single failed save. And outside of combat, we're incredibly consistent. Thanks to our ability scores being all 14s except for the 18 in Charisma, along with our Jack of all trades, any ability check we make is getting at least a +5 and at most a +8, making for the narrowest range of skill bonuses I've ever seen on a character. On the other hand, our army's great, but it takes a good deal to maintain it. We need new bodies for every cast of Animate Dead, assuming your DM doesn't let you just reanimate the ones that died, and we need to burn spell slots to reassert control if they don't die. Also, having consistent ability checks is nice, but I'd prefer if they were a little bit higher. Sometimes +5 or even +8 is just not going to cut it. And finally, our bonus action is a little bit crowded for my taste. Our Bardic Inspiration and Channel Divinity are both bonus actions, which might not seem like a lot, but remember that commanding our zombies does use our bonus action as well. So I guess the trade-off for not being able to use Bardic Inspiration on some turns is having an army of zombies to trample over our enemies? Yeah, I think I'm okay with that.
I'm unbeatable. Double time.
Thank you for watching, friends. I hope you enjoyed the build. Head on over to my community tab if you want to vote for the next character for me to do. This week is between the Soldier and the Sniper from Team Fortress 2, Charles Xavier, and our runner-up from last time, the incredible Edna Mode. If you have any feedback or suggestions for characters you'd like to see me build, please leave them in the comments below, and they could show up in a future poll. Leave a like or subscribe if you want to see more, and if you want to support what I'm doing here, you can check the description for the link to my Patreon, for access to the Discord channel, early access to future builds, and exclusive Patreon content. Thanks again for watching, I will see y'all later.